Greetings, this is Edward Ojambo. In today's review, we're going to discuss the public domain software license. So understanding public domain software licenses, open source and beyond. Before, also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed this month. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It also shows that you appreciate the work I do and keeps me motivated to make more videos such as this one. Okay, let's continue. So if you're diving into the world of open source software, you may come across the term public domain software license. But what does it actually mean and how does it relate to open source projects? Let's break it down into simple terms. What is a public domain software license? It refers to software that is essentially free to use, modify, and distribute without any restrictions. Unlike most software licenses, which come with certain rules and obligations such as attribution, sharing modifications, or restricting commercial use, public domain software doesn't impose any such requirements. It is as if the software was donated to the public for unrestricted use. Software placed in the public domain means anyone can take it, change it, and even release it as they see fit without needing permission from the original creator. Although public domain software is not technically considered open source in the strictest sense because it doesn't require sharing improvements or modifications, it is open source compatible. That means that the code can still be used and modified within open source projects, making it a flexible option for developers who want to integrate software into their projects without worrying about licensing conflict. For example, if you have a project that is under an open source license such as the MIT license or GPL, that stands for General Public License, you could freely use public domain software in a project, modified and even redistributed without needing to worry about legal issues. There are also some public domain equivalent licenses. So in addition to the true public domain, there are several public domain equivalent licenses that aim to give similar freedoms to software but also provide more structure or protection for creators. These licenses allow the creators to release their work with the intention that it be treated like public domain software but with a bit more control. Some of the most common public domain equivalent licenses include the CCO, that's a common Creative Commons 0. This license is a common public domain equivalent license. It allows authors to waive all their rights and place their work in the public domain. The CC 0 license is widely used for various types of creative works, including software, and ensures that anyone can use, modify, and distribute the software without any restrictions. I have an example here. So let's actually go to the website for the see, this is the CC0 1.0 Universal Deed. As you can see, here's the URL. It's also in the description. You see, here it is. I can read this out to you. It says, the person who associated a work with this deed has dedicated the work to the public domain by waiving all his or her rights to the work worldwide under copyright law, including all related and neighboring rights to the extent allowed by law. You can copy, modify, distribute, and perform the work, even for commercial purposes or without asking permission. And there's see other information below. So there's more information. I'm not going to read all of it, but you can go read this by yourself. So basically it says, in no way are the patent or trademark rights of any person affected by the CC0, nor are the rights that other persons may have in this work all in how the work is used, such as publicity or privacy rights. Unless explicitly stated otherwise, the person who associated a work with this deed makes no warranties about the work and disclaims liability for all the users of the works to the fullest extent permitted by applicable law. When using or citing the work, you should not imply endorsement by the author or the affirmer. So as you can see, one thing you notice between the other licenses we talked is usually there's less things to write about when you're using a public domain equivalent license. And as you can see here, I also put a short blurb for the license. So if you actually want to make it even shorter, this is how you could actually write it here. So it's this work is licensed under the Creative Commons 0, CC 0, 1.0 Universal, CC 0, 1.0 Public Domain Dedication. You can copy, modify, distribute, and perform the work even for commercial purposes or without asking permission. The work is dedicated to public domain and is free to use without any conditions unless required by law. For more information, please visit the website, which is creativecommons.org/public-domain/0/1.0. So I just read out to you. So that is the one. It's called the Creative Commons 0. There's another one called the unlicensed. This is a popular choice for software developers. The unlicensed places software in the public domain and provides a simple and clear declaration that anyone is free to use, modify, or distribute the code. I'll read the short blurb for it that I've included in the article. It says this is free and unencumbered software / public domain material released into the public domain. Anyone is free to copy, modify, distribute, or perform the work even for commercial purposes without asking for permission. This work is released to the public domain under the terms of the unlicensed. For more details, visit unlicensed.org. Okay, now let's go to the unlicensed.org website here, and you can see it has more information you can view on the screen. So it says the unlicensed is a template for disclaiming copyright monopoly interest in software you have written. In other words, it's a template for dedicating your software to the public domain. It combines a copyright waiver patent under the very successful public domain SQLite project with the no warranty statement from the widely used MIT/X11 license. Why use the unlicensed? Because you have more important things to do than enriching lawyers or imposing petty restrictions on users to your code. How often have you passed up on utilizing and contributing to a great software library just because its open source license was not compatible with your own preferred flavor of open source? How many precious hours of your life have you spent deliberating how to license your software or worrying about licensing compatibility with other software? You will never get those hours back, but here's your chance to start cutting your losses. Life's too short. Let's get back to coding. So as you can see here, there's more information about the unlicensed, and you can read their blurb. It's basically the same as my short blurb here, except obviously it has more. So I'll just read some of it for people who are joining us from the podcast. It says, this is free unencumbered software released under the public domain. Anyone is free to copy, modify, publish, and use, compile, sell, or distribute the software either in source code form or as compiled binary for any purpose, commercial or non-commercial, and by any means. In jurisdictions that recognize copyright laws, the authors of this software dedicate any and all copyright interest in the software to the public domain. We make this dedication for the benefit of the public at large and to detriment of our heirs and successors. We intend this dedication to be an overt act of relinquishment of perpetuity of all present and future rights to this software under copyright law. This software is provided as is without warranty of any kind express or implied, including but not limited to the warranties of the merchantability, fitness, or for a particular purpose or non-infringement. In no event shall the authors be liable for any claim, damages, or other liability, whether in an action of contract, tort, or otherwise, arising from, out, all in connection with the software or the use or other dealings in the software. For more information, refer to unlicensed.org. Okay, so there you go. So there's more. That's basically it. Nice and simple. Okay, so the last one we have that I want to, the second last one is called the Public Domain Dedication and License. That's the PDDL. This is a public domain equivalent license specifically designed for databases. It allows the creator to dedicate their work to the public domain, ensuring that anyone can use, modify, distribute the data without restrictions. So I do have a little blurb as well. So instead of reading the blurb, just to save time, I'll just go to the website, which is The links also, the description is the opendatacommons.org/licenses/pddl/1-0. So it says Open Data Commons Public Domain Dedication and License, that's PDDL, version 1.0. Disclaimer. So they have a disclaimer. I'm not going to read the disclaimer. I won't care about the license part as well, as you can read it all there. As you can see, it's has quite a bit of it's pretty long. I'm not going to read all of that. It's going to take way too long. I'll just read my blurb because I just made it nice and short. So it says, this work is dedicated to the public domain under the terms of the Public Domain Dedication and License, that's PDDL. You're free to copy, modify, distribute, perform the work, even for commercial purposes. Use the work for any purpose with no restrictions. By using this work, you agree that the work has been dedicated to public domain and may freely used without any conditions except as required by law. For more information, see the pddl.org. So basically, it's the Open Data Commons.org/licenses/pddl/1-0. Okay, now the last license I want to talk about is the MIT No Attribution MIT-0 license. This is a variant of the MIT license that explicitly places software in the public domain. It's a no strings attached version of the well-known MIT license, giving developers full freedom to use the code without requiring attribution. So with that, I'm going to take a look at the website for this actual license. It's actually available on the MIT website, but it's also on the open source initiative. That's opensource.org/license/MIT. As you can see here, it's a simple derivative of the MIT license. I'm going to read it. So usually what you do is you put the copyright, and then you put the year and the copyright holder. Then you put the then you mention what the license has. But I'm just going to read my blurb, because my blurb has it's very specific to the actual license. Remember, there's multiple types of licenses, even for example MIT. So it says the work is listed under MIT No Attribution MIT-0 license. You may use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, sublicense, and /all sell copies of the work, and permit others to do so without any conditions or restrictions. There is no requirement for attribution or inclusion of the license text. The work is provided as is, without warranty of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to the warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, or non-infringement. For more details, see the opensource.org/licenses/MIT. So as you can see, it's actually even shorter. I just read a short little blurb for you, and I have a link where you can get to that as well. Okay, so basically, this public domain equivalences are often preferred by when developers want the maximum freedom of public domain software, but also need a bit of clarity or protection for the work they have created. Example software using the public domain license. One great example of software that uses the public domain license is the SQLite database engine. So if you go to the SQLite database engine, you can see it's a C language library that implements a small, fast, self-contained, high reliability, full-featured SQL database engine. It's the most used database engine in the world. It's built into all mobile phones and most computers, and comes bundled inside countless other applications that people use every day. So you can read more about it. What I'm more interested, you see, it says SQLite source code is in the public domain and is free to everyone to use for any purpose. So you can see the latest version is version 3.50.3 as of the time of this recording of this video. So if we go to the license, SQLite.org/copyright.html, you see it says it's a public domain, and they explain that they are open source, but they're not open contribution. So I'll read basically it's public domain, so you can do whatever you want with this with the code. However, I just want to mention here that they're not open contributions. I'll read that little blurb there. It says SQLite is open source, meaning that you can take as many copies of it as you want and do whatever you want with those copies without limitation. But SQLite is not open contribution. In order to keep SQLite in the public domain and ensure that the code does not become contaminated with proprietary or licensed content, the project does not accept patches from people who have not submitted an affidavit dedicating their contribution into the public domain. All of the code in SQLite is original, having been written specifically for use by SQLite. No code has been copied from unknown sources on the internet. So I just want to let you know that even though it's open source, they do not take obviously contributions unless somebody signs the affidavit dedicating their contribution into the public domain. Basically what they will do is they will just rewrite the code so that it's public domain. And you can see they do have, it says here, SQLite is in the public domain, does not require a license. Even so, some organizations want legal proof of their right to use SQLite. So that's one of the reasons why this license is the equivalent popped up. Circumstances where this might occur include the following. Your company desires immunity against claims of copyright infringement. You are using SQLite in the jurisdiction that does not recognize the public domain. You're using SQLite in the jurisdiction that does not recognize the right of an author to dedicate their work to the public domain. You may want to hold a tangible legal document as evidence that you have the legal right to use and distribute SQLite. Your legal department tells you that you must purchase a license. Yes, that actually does happen. So if any of the above circumstances apply to you, this company called HWAC, I think it's called WASI, the company that employs all the developers of SQLite, will sell you a warranty of title for the SQLite. A warranty of title is a legal document that asserts that the claimed authors of SQLite are the true authors and that the authors have the legal right to dedicate SQLite library into the public domain, and that WASI will vigorously defend against challenges to those claims. All proceeds from the sale of SQLite warranties of the title are used to fund the continuing improvement and support of SQLite. So there you go. I want to read the last paragraph. It says contributor code. In order to keep SQLite completely free and unencumbered by copyright, the source code, the project does not accept patches. If you'd like to suggest a change and you include a patch as proof of concept, that would be great. However, please do not be offended if we rewrite your patch from scratch. That's what I mentioned earlier. Okay, finally, I do have some screenshots I'll show you here. This one is for the Creative Commons 0. This one is for public domain equivalent called WTFPL, Unlicensed Public Domain Dedication and License. PDDL example. So I can't say what the I can't say what the F stands for, otherwise this would not be I have to bleep that out, but I'm sure you guys can guess. You're smart enough. And then this one is the last one is the unlicensed logo. It's another public equivalent, public domain equivalent. And finally, this is the video you're watching right now. So why choose public domain software? Freedom. You can modify, distribute, and even sell the software without restrictions. No license hassles. Since there is no need to track or adhere to licensing terms, you don't have to worry about compliance issues. It's ideal for developers. It's perfect for creating open source projects or internal tools with little legal overhead. However, keep in mind that public domain software lacks the protection and contributions that might come from more restriction licenses like the GPL or MIT license. Developers using public domain software should ensure they aren't violating other parts of the law, such as patent laws. Need help with software setup? If you're a developer or business owner who needs one-on-one program tutorials or help with custom installations, updates, and migrations, or even perhaps choosing what type of license, I'm available for personalized support. Whether you need help integrating public domain software or tackling more complex programming challenges, I'm here to help to guide you. Check out my contact page for more details. That's essentially ojambo.com/contact. So that's ojambo.com/contact. And that's the end. Once again, a quick reminder that to subscribe, like, follow, leave comments for more frequent content. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.